Okay, so here we have the word cloud that I created as the example that you can find in Module 6 in the resources folder. Um, if you notice, a couple of the words are missing. One of them is partially typed. What I wanted to do is I wanted to show you the steps you needed to take in order to create your own word cloud from scratch using Google Drawings. Google Drawings is kind of a relatively underused tool in the Google Apps Suite. You get to it the same way that you get to any other Google Drive document. You're logged in with your Gmail account, your Google account, and when you're in Google Drive, you can go New. If you don't see Google Drawings here, you can go to More and click on Google Drawings there, and that will load up a blank space for you to work on your drawing. For this assignment, as I said, we're creating a word cloud. The mechanics behind it and the steps that you need to take are relatively simple, and it's not going to take you a whole lot of time to learn how to do it and to actually do it. What is probably going to take you the most amount of time is actually laying out your word cloud, and that's kind of what I want you to pay a lot of attention to while you're creating this, is where the words go, how close they are together, and play around the text and the typography, because that's kind of what we're focusing on for this module. So all you really have to do in drawing for this assignment is you're going to be using the text box tool, and that's pretty much it. So you can click on text box, you can draw a text box, and one of the ones that I deleted from here was critical thinking. Okay, so there's critical thinking. Let me delete this one from down here. Now when you click on it, you notice that if you click in this empty space here, I get those 4 arrows again, where if I click, I can drag this box around. Same thing happens if I go around the borders around here, I can click and drag. These handles in the corners won't really do a whole lot for the text. It's not going to resize the text, it's just going to resize the text box. The only thing it's going to do is if I get too close to the words, it's actually going to bump it down so it's on more than one line. So you want to make sure it's big enough that you have enough room for it, and you can kind of click and drag. The handle up at the top, like it does in other programs, you can use it to click and rotate your words around. So you can use that. I'm going to put that back to 0. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag this one down here. And then I'm going to click in here, and what I want to do is I want to change the font, and I want to change the size and the color. So it's pretty standard. I'm going to go up here to the font, and I can pick one of the fonts that's on here. What's nice about this is Google actually has a lot of built-in web fonts. So if you don't see one that you like here, you can actually click this More Fonts option, and this is going to load up a lot of fonts that you can kind of check out. This is whatever the font name is, whatever it's written as, that's the preview of what it's going to look like. So you can kind of scroll through and look. You can show all the fonts. If you only want to see handwriting fonts, these are all the handwriting fonts. So it kind of depends on what you want to see. If you find one that you like, you can click on it and say OK, and it will turn it into that font. And that font will now always show up in your regular font list up here as well. So I have my font, my text, and I'm going to increase the size of this a bit. Let's go up to 36. Actually, let's go up a little bit more. We'll go to 48. Okay, now you can see this is kind of scrunching down into multiple lines. It's because my box is too small. I'm going to drag my box bigger so that I can fit all the text in. All right, good. And then the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change the color. Now you can see I have some custom colors down here, and I have some colors here as well, so I can pick one of these colors and it will change the color of my font. The other thing that I can do as well that we looked at in the previous module was if I click on this custom color, here's that hex code again. So you can use that color scheme designer tool, Paladin, and you can create a color scheme, and you can copy those hex codes right into here, and say, okay, I'm just going to make one up for now just so you can see what happens. Say okay, and then it's going to fill in these custom at the bottom. So if there's a handful of colors that you like, you can put them in as custom, and they will show up in this bottom bar, and then you can just click on the text that you like and change it to that custom color. All right, so I'm going to move this around a little bit, and then I'm going to repeat the process for that one, that other text that I deleted, self-motivation. So let's type that in. And again, all I have to do is select the text, pick the font that I want. If I don't find one that I like, I can go more fonts. Let's see which fonts are trending. Some of these are better than others, but a lot of it is personal preference, especially for this project. I wouldn't go crazy on font choices for this one. What I did here and what I explained in the example was that I kind of picked one font for the medium-sized text, one font for the small-sized text, and then the large text. I kind of picked a variety of it just as a way to kind of spice it up a little bit. So I'm going to drag this guy down here. Again, increase the font size. It's going to be a little bit too big. It's a little bit too small. That one's better. Just drag it a little bit bigger, a little bit bigger, and then click, change the color. It's a little bit hard to read. Make it a little darker. Okay. Now, what you can do as well is, as you're adjusting this this text around, you can click and drag, and that works well. But sometimes you want to just move it a little bit. You can use the arrow keys on your keyboard to just kind of nudge the text around to get it really where you want to get it. If you hold the Shift key down while you nudge it, you'll notice that it actually just moves it a tiny bit, rather than bouncing it around left, right. Holding down Shift, it really cuts down on how much it moves. So you can adjust it slight amount so you can really kind of get it where you want it and line everything up. So if I want to line up the end of this N to the A, I can kind of get it just about where I want it, and then nudge it into place, and then it's in a pretty good place. Like I said, most of the time that you spend on this is going to be adjusting your layout and where everything lies, adjusting your font color and your font choices. So really kind of focus on that, and get these set up so that they're visually attractive and they're appealing, which is a bit of a challenge because there's no pictures, but it'll give you a good idea of really the power of text and font and how you can make a poster just out of text, and then you'll be able to use those skills that you've gained in creating this in using it for headlines for other posters and other flyers and projects that you do in your class. When you're finished with this, what you're going to do is you're going to go up to File, and you're going to say Download As, and you're going to download it as either a PNG or a JPG file. You can download it as a PDF as well. One of these three. Just don't download it as a SVG file. Once it's downloaded, then you can just upload it to Blackboard, and you'll be good to go.